So, I have reviewed both Chanel No. 5 and Miss Dior in the past, and they're both extremely famous and quite old perfumes, so I decided to kind of make a comparison between them because they do have some similarities, but they also do have some interesting differences. So, in case you didn't see those original review videos, here's my Chanel No. 5 sample here, and my very, very tiny Miss Dior sample. So, right away, the immediate difference visually is that Miss Dior is clear, if you can tell, while, let's see if I can get out of the box, Chanel No. 5 has a golden color, a very light golden color. So, I will put Chanel No. 5 on my left wrist here, and let that dry for a second. Yeah, Chanel No. 5 is one of my favorites, but I also like Miss Dior, so I'm kind of curious back to back which one I might prefer here. So I'll put Miss Dior on my other wrist. So, right off the bat, there is an immediate sweetness between the two of them, except Miss Dior is way sweeter immediately, right off the bat. And there is a similar, like the same type of sweetness with Chanel No. 5, except it's way more distant, way toned down, more of a kind of classy feel. So these are both two quite old perfumes. Miss Dior came out in 1947 originally, although I have the reformulated version from 2021, so last year. And Chanel No. 5 is from 1921, so basically 100 years ago. And besides that sweetness, there is an immediate warmth to Chanel No. 5, which Miss Dior does not have. Miss Dior, I would say, is, despite that sweetness, it's a bit of a cold fragrance. Chanel No. 5, I think it's its warmth from lots of wood notes. Specifically, there's sandalwood, there's some moss, some vetiver, lots of warm notes in those base notes, and there's lots of civet also, mixed in with some vanilla and then also some floral notes. Now, with Miss Dior, it's mostly floral notes. Mostly floral with a bit of fruit, like peach or apricot. There is a note of sandalwood, and there is some vanilla and musk, but the musk with Miss Dior is very distant, not really kind of present. Meanwhile, the musk with Chanel No. 5 is almost immediate. It shows up kind of pretty much right away, so you don't need to wait, for those notes to kick in. It's already there. And there's also a richness, almost like a nice warm bath oil or something with Chanel No. 5. But at the same time, it's not too heavy, not too syrupy, because it has the lightness of the aldehydes in the top notes. And Chanel No. 5 is famous for its aldehydes because it was one of the first perfumes to use them. And aldehydes in general just keep perfume kind of light and sparkly. There's kind of a almost champagne element to the Chanel perfume. As for Miss Dior, at least for the modern formulation, I don't know what the original 1947 formulation smelled like, but the modern one, it's mainly that sweetness, which is a pleasant sweetness. It's not like too sugary or too foody. It's mainly floral and fruity. And beyond that, there is just a little bit of vanilla in the base notes, but because it's lacking, or at least very weak, in those musk notes, it doesn't feel very grounded, I would say. It's definitely, like I said, kind of a cold yet sweet kind of daytime perfume. while Chanel No. 5 is a much more luxurious, warm, not smoky, but, oily almost, like, really luxurious, really. And that is, like, I guess it's like two personalities, kind of counteracting. These are both obviously very high quality perfumes, one from Dior, one from Chanel, both of which are very old brands. Chanel is older than Dior. I think Dior came out in 1946. Chanel, I think, came out in the 20s or 1910s, but either way, these two perfumes have managed to remain quite timeless. I believe that the Miss Dior has been reformulated to kind of cater to the younger audience of, our modern age, but Chanel No. 5, even though it has gone a few differences and reformulations, it still more or less is how it used to be, 100 years ago, which I can admire, not always trying to evolve to fit the youth or, just the new generation. Once you have a good thing, you should stick to it. And Chanel No. 5 does do just that. And while they're both good, I would say that the sweetness in Miss Dior is just maybe a bit too much. Like, it is a very, very good, refreshing, floral sort of sweetness, but it's almost a bit two-dimensional, kind of flat, not... It's very good, but not as good as I would expect from, Dior. It doesn't have a lot of complexity, which is mainly due to those really, really weak or absent musk notes. But Chanel No. 5, you can really detect all the notes, the top notes, middle notes, base notes. You have the florals in the top, you have some orris root, and then you have some moss and wood in the base notes along with the civet. So in general, I would say that Chanel No. 5 is just more full-bodied. It's more just detailed, has more layers, more identifiable layers. And this modern formulation of Miss Dior is more, you get those fruity notes right away, very sweet fruity notes. Then you have the lots of floral notes, and the base notes just kind of aren't there. It's just very, you can just throw out the base notes because they're so weak. So that's pretty much my take on these two perfumes. While they're both good, I would have to say, both as an unbiased and biased opinion, that Chanel No. 5 is the better option, just because it's just more thought out, more kind of sculpted, and more present, Miss Dior is more of a fleeting, light fragrance, and Chanel No. 5 will stick with you, kind of, and evolve as you wear it, like a blossom. But that's all I have to say about those two perfumes. So if you disagree or agree, whatever is the case, you can always leave a comment down below, maybe leave a like or subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.